Hey everyone, you're watching the Esperanza 243. This is Long Live Menavia Parts 22. Bing bing! As I said in my last video, this is the same day recording. If you don't know what that means, suck it dick, bitch. Ah, damn it, why did I do that? I'm sorry guys. I've been watching this guy all week. His idiosyncrasies are starting to knock into my head. And also, I'm kind of sick. I was fine this morning, but I have no idea what happened. I think it's because I'm using the AC instead of the heat. You know what? Just give me a second. 66 degrees in this apartment. Oh my gosh. No wonder I'm freaking sick. Alright. Anyways, I'm sure you guys were starting to get used to the Supergirl by Crystal Harris in the credits, as a credits song. But I try to make sure I change songs every time I finish a packet. So, is there anything to tell you guys before I start doing a recap for Long Live Menavia? I got some new movies, basically to get rid of an old recorded tape that I have. Actually, the second movie I'm waiting for, the particular two movies I have. One is one of the recorded movies I have on the tape. The other one is just something I haven't seen in years, and I kind of want to own. Who the heck is Sean McGuire? I'm sure you guys will tell me. One movie is Stay Alive. Oh my gosh. It's my favorite. It's one of my favorite horror movies. Or not horror movies. I guess it's a mixture of thriller and horror. Horror. I'm going to do a Drew Carey thing. Horror. This one, it's basically like the tagline that's on this DVD right here. You die in the game, you die for real. And that's really what happens. Once, in this movie is basically about a video game called Stay Alive. And however, how you die in the game is how you die in real life on the same freaking day. And so it's not just about a video game though, because like the topic of the video game is Elizabeth Bathory. I'm gonna stop, because if I just babble on about Elizabeth Bathory, oh my gosh, I am so gonna go over my minutes of how long I want this video to be. I'm just gonna go to the next movie then. You guys should look up Stay Alive. It's an awesome movie. Look for the actual movie, no director's cut. The director's cut has more scenes in it and has the actual profanity. I love the profanity, but seriously, the version I prefer is the one that's not director's cut. This is called Prince Charming. I hope you guys remember this movie. Prince Charming has Martin Short, Christina Applegate, Bernadette Peters, sorry, and Sean McGuire. Oh, and Billy Connolly. Holy cow, Billy Connolly. Let's get to the book reading. Recap on part 21. Basically, Caprice finds out what the message from Aina is. She talks to Senor Baldwin about it, having to whether to figure out whether to make outfits before the meeting or while she meets Princess Fanchon. She and the Senor end up discovering what kind of relationship they have. And it's a role model / lady friend. Yeah. Her being the lady friend, him being the role model. Pretty cool. Anyways, part 21 ends with Caprice going to the palace to meet Princess Fanchon. And here we go. As they walked down another hallway, Caprice noticed 2 guards outside a certain room. Signora Fournier led her to that room. Inside, it was beautiful. Words couldn't describe it. The room looked too elegant for the palace. Princess Fanchon was pacing a small part of the room. Caprice gasped at her beauty. She was about her height, with dark brown hair. She had perfect brows and dark, youthful eyes. Princess Fanchon, I am sorry to keep you. I am sorry to keep you, Signora Fournier called to her. The princess looked at them. She smiled softly and politely. I was not waiting long, she replied. I am eager to see your work, Miss Caprice. Her accent was hard to place, different from what Caprice had heard. Much like the Catalan language, she could hear a French and Spanish accent. Hence why I'm using my own voice for this. The princess walked toward Caprice and observed her. You have a beautiful face. She looked at her. The dress you wear is pretty. Not that eye-catching look I expected. It is quite a proper dress to wear. She saw that she held something big in her hands. The 2 dresses were covered with brown paper. Her eyes widened. You brought a dress with you. Why did you do this? Caprice looked at the floor nervously. It became quiet for a few moments. The princess smiled. Please, tell me. Caprice did not expect Princess Fanchon would assume the dress for her to buy would be the one she was wearing. She looked at the princess. Your Highness, she said, curtsying, I made 2 more dresses. I thought you would like to have options. The princess gave her a look of surprise, but it was gentle. You are the first to do this. Caprice looked at her. Most dressmakers bring other girls wearing what they made. Princess Fanchon, may I say something? Signora Fournier spoke up. The princess looked at her and nodded. I may not have told you this. Miss Caprice has lived in Indra for little over a month. She has not lived here long enough to know our customs. As the princess looked at Caprice, Caprice bit her tongue. She was so close to talking back at the Signora. Princess Fanchon suddenly had a look of interest. Where were you before Indra? I lived in a different country, Maltrova, she answered with a straight face. The princess's eyes widened. Her mouth dropped a bit. You traveled far, Miss Caprice. Your coming to Menavia interests me. Why did you choose Menavia? You could have lived in France. Caprice suddenly drew a blank look at her. She had struck a nerve in the young lady. I do not wish to speak of that. It is a personal matter, she replied curtly. Why do you ask, Your Highness? I have heard rumors around the place. I have heard rumors around the palace that there is a young lady who looks a lot like Princess Mediona. I believe you might be her. I am her, she replied. People have told me I look like her and should stay inside. Caprice sighed. Your Highness, I am here on a business proposition, not chit-chat. Princess Fanchon looked at her in silence. The young lady's seriousness proved to her that she was telling the truth about those rumors. You are quite right. Please, show me the other dresses. Caprice uncovered the dresses and held one in each hand. The 2 dresses were very pretty, outshining the dress she wore. They definitely were close to eye-catching and quite decent, but not proper. The princess eyed the dresses carefully. You are very good, Miss Caprice. You are very talented, much like a professional dressmaker. Thank you, Your Highness, she whispered softly. I suppose you meant for me to look at these dresses and not the one you wear. It was quiet. I shall take the peach dress, and if it's not too much to ask, I would like to have a dress much like the one you are wearing. Would you like to keep the dress now? Caprice asked. Princess Fanchon smiled. Once again, I must say you are not like the dressmakers I have met. They assume I would want it immediately and brought copies with them. Caprice stayed quiet. You may do what you wish. Leave the dress or keep it until the dresses are made. I shall wait, Miss Caprice. Yes, Your Highness. She curtsied. You may leave, the princess told her. Caprice put the 2 dresses together and picked up the brown paper to cover them. She observed Princess Fanchon carefully. After that, she left the room and went back to her hotel room. Signora Fournier, tell me more about Miss Caprice. There is not much to tell, Your Highness. I met her at a dinner party hosted by Signor Bruno Pujadas. She paused. There was a time during the dinner when she said she met Bruno through a mutual friend. If I'm not mistaken, I would think Signor Cassius Baldwin introduced them. The princess stared at her with wide eyes. Cassius Baldwin? I thought he was a shut-in after what happened 2 months ago. He's still serving people? Your Highness, he and Bruno Pujadas are old friends. He probably introduced Miss Caprice and Signor Pujadas, so Bruno would settle down. I have conversed with Miss Caprice. She is properly trained and very kind, very polite. She is not like most ladies her age. They like to gossip and chit-chat. It worries me a bit. Perhaps her mother raised her too well. I tried talking to her about her family in Maltrova. No matter which way I brought it in, she would be very brief of the subject. I fear she has something to hide. The princess thought about it. Perhaps she came to Menavia for a reason, the princess whispered. It would explain why she looks like Princess Mariona. It became quiet for a while. Let us leave this room. I never could stay in here long. It always makes me feel like I'm not wanted. Whoops. Oh. Caprice was able to sell the dress Princess Fanchon didn't want. It was enough money to buy more materials to make the 2 dresses. She was able to make both dresses in less than 6 hours. After that, she wrapped each dress separately in brown paper and sent the packages to the Princess of Menavia. Princess Fanchon was pleased with her work when she received the dresses that week. She felt it was necessary to pay for them. There, I'm going to stop for just a few seconds. Ooh, nice timing. Bah, 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 bah. Hilarious, 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 hilarious. Rah, rah. I got this when my sisters graduated from college. We decided to go out and party. Me, my sisters, my mom, my dad, and Anna's boyfriend. Oh. Alright, let's get back to the book. After Caprice finished the dresses, she started to feel guilty. I should not have been so rude to her, she whispered. That was when she thought of Signor Baldwin. Suddenly, she remembered she was to come to him after meeting Princess Fanchon. She groaned. Ugh. She quickly changed into a comfortable dress and hurried off to his house. After knocking on the front door, a servant came to answer it. She didn't recognize the servant. I'm here to see Signor Baldwin. I believe he has been waiting for me all day. He nodded and led her to the foyer. She waited there for what felt like a long time. She looked at the portraits in detail while waiting for him. Finally, the Signor entered the foyer. He watched her for a moment. I'm glad you finally came. She looked at him with a startled expression. I was starting to think whatever happened must have frightened you away. She winced. I almost did, Cassius. I completely forgot about coming over until now. His eyes widened. He became worried. What happened? It became quiet for a few moments as they sat down. Princess Fanchon was surprised that I brought dresses, and she said so. I could have replied, but Signora Fournier spoke up before I could. She started telling the princess that I was not from Inra. I nearly froze. I didn't know what to do. She started breathing heavily. Calm down, Caprice. The Signor placed a hand upon hers. What happened next? Princess Fanchon suddenly became interested after I told her I was from Meltrova. She asked me why I came here instead of France. She sighed in frustration. I was quite rude to her. I replied to her, almost snapping at her. She paused. A tear dropped from her eye. She wiped it off. I kept it very brief and asked her why she was interested. Then she told me she heard rumors that someone was in Inra who looked a lot like Princess Mariona. She believed I was the young lady. Signor Baldwin gasped. What did you tell her? He asked with surprise. I told her it was me. She shook her head. After that, I couldn't take it anymore. I wanted to get out of there. I changed the subject to the point of our meeting. It was quiet for a while. Signor Baldwin was about to break the silence, but Caprice beat him before he could. I was really hoping my first meeting with Princess Fanchon would be exciting and influential. I guess sometimes I can't get what I want. There was a moment of silence. Before it could grow, the Signor spoke up. Sometimes you can get surprises. She looked at him and faintly smiled. That is true. I found out I have an aunt and uncle. The next second, Signor Baldwin took his hand off of her and called for one of his servants. Caprice looked at him with wide eyes. He looked at her. Some surprises can be unexpected, like discovering more of your family. His favorite servant entered the foyer. She had a long box on her hands. Caprice became worried when she saw that excited look on Lucia's face. Other surprises can be rewarding. She walked up to him, but she faced Caprice. Cassius, what's going on? The Signor took the box from Lucia and then looked at his friend. It became quiet for a while as he tried to figure out what to say. He smiled. This is my gift to you. Her eyes grew wide. Thank you, Caprice, for putting up with me when I was rough on you. Caprice was hesitant as to what to do. Go on, open it, he softly told her. She got up, took the lid off, and pulled away the wrapping tissue. She gasped. And that is where I stop. Alright, I'm sorry, but this is just exciting. I love reading this book. I love reading this book. I'm gonna have to get something to drink because I have more reading to do later on. Sometimes I edit better when I read out loud. In fact, like I do with this book, with the books that I've read on my channel, I've created voices, you know, if you haven't noticed. So, ow. So I do that with other books that I read too. Anyways, I will see you guys in my next video, which will be Long Live Menavia Part 23. Actually, yeah, that's about it. I will talk to you guys later. I hope you're enjoying this book as much as I am. I'm excited. I hope to hear from you guys. Or not hear. I hope to see some comments below. I'm still trying to get some people to comment on my videos. I already have like about 37 subscribers. People are just not watching my stuff as much as I want them to. Anyways, I guess I will talk to you guys later. This is the Esperanza 243 signing out.